Open sesame. It's time for the Sports Vault with Jersey Joe and Big Shot Rob.
Yeah, Joe, I think the Knicks are going to win the championship this year. They're going to beat the Heat.
Let me stop you right there, Rob. The Miami Heat will win the championship this year.
It's back-to-back titles for the Heat. The 2013 NBA championship resides once again in Miami.
The Madden cover winner in 2012 was Peyton Hillis.
Peyton who?
Running room with the ends. Peyton Hillis is loose. Sprint to the end zone. Touchdown.
Hello, Iona College. I'm your host with the most, Jersey Joe, coming back with my partner, Big Shot Rob, and we missed you last week, Big Shot Rob, so we're glad to have you back. This morning, I was on the WICR Morning Show on Fridays. Big Shot Rob's holding it down on the WICR Morning Show on Thursdays, and so you can catch us a little bit more there, but we know why you're here. You're here for the Sports Vault, and as we speak, Team USA is unfortunately losing 1-0 to Canada. The game is really coming down to the end right now. We'll keep you posted. It seems like right now there was just a play with Ryan Callahan, but man, I mean, right now, we were watching the game before we came here to do the show, and right now USA, I mean, I just don't see, I mean, Canada just looks like they're a lot more ferocious right now. Team USA's got a couple power play opportunities, but they just couldn't convert on any of those. But the game still got some time in it, and we're going to keep you monitored on that. We have a whole segment devoted to that. But we're going to kick it right off with the recap of last night's big game, the Miami Heat and the Oklahoma City Thunder. The Heat won last night 103-81, and I thought it was a big, big statement win. I think the first two games after the All-Star break have been huge statement games for the Heat. You saw them come out in that Maverick game in the fourth quarter. LeBron took control, and in that game again last night, I mean, LeBron had 33 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists. Dwayne Wade had a double-double, 24 points for him. Chris Bosh played well as well, 24 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists for him as well. So overall, the big three were fantastic last night, but I think LeBron has got a little chip on his shoulder. I mean, you've heard everybody's giving Kevin Durant all the love. He's getting all the attention, and I think LeBron's kind of coming out right now and saying, hey, look, there's still a lot of time left for this MVP thing. You better not forget about me. And last night he outplayed Durant flat out. Overall, the Miami Heat, just a big win, and I think this is kind of, they're setting the tempo for how they want the rest of the season to play out, because the way they've come out the first two games, I really like what I'm seeing, and after the moves they made yesterday, we'll see what happens there. But Rob, what were your impressions of the game last night?
That was a huge message last night. That game, huge message. Probably by far the best I've seen the big three play all this year. You know, Dwayne Wade, Joe, with that knee injury that's been hurting him this year. But when you see how great they played, especially versus this OKC team that blew them out the last time they played, and the way they played, they came out and just destroyed these guys. And you know what? LeBron, since the All-Star break, LeBron has come out as this huge-time scorer, 42 points his first game back, and then 33 last night. He's been looking great lately. And you know what? Him and Durant kind of remind me of Magic Johnson and Bird, except 2 different games. But these guys are tremendous, and you know that they're both fighting for the MVP award. But overall, this is a great win for the Heat. And you know what? They're only a game and a half behind the Indiana Pacers in the division.
That's big. I mean, we've seen it the last two seasons. I mean, Game 7s have been huge for Miami. Having that home court advantage, I think, was the difference between losing and winning. So I'd love to see if the Heat really, I think that'd be big, but as long as you have LeBron on the court, you never know what's going to happen. And just stopping the basketball talk for a minute, there's under 5 minutes left in the game right now. The U.S. is still scoreless. They just had a nice shot on net, but Carey Price, he's playing a really good game. You got to give him a lot of credit. I was a little bit critical when they took out Roberto Luongo, but they knew what they were doing, and Carey Price, he's really played a good game, and it's wrapping down, so we got to hope Team USA can get something together. But moving on to it, a lot of the big moves yesterday. We'll go over the big ones. Oh, there wasn't a ton of big ones. I mean, for the average fan, a lot of these names aren't really going to stick out big at you. But one of the ones, I mean, for the Golden State Warriors, I talked about it last week, how I thought they kind of needed to make a move. I mean, at home especially this year, very disappointing. 16-10 at home. They had 17-10 at home after last last night, but it's been very weird for a team that has maybe the best home court advantage in the NBA. But Steve Blake, I think it was a good move. They didn't really have to give up a whole lot. They gave up 2 players who really don't play at all. It's for a veteran guy in Steve Blake, tough guy, smart player. So I like that move. Rob, what were your thoughts of the Steve Blake move?
I think it was a very good pickup for Golden State. A great backup for Steph Curry. They really didn't trade too much for him, but with the Lakers, when he was there, he was a big-time player over there. Kobe really liked him, so he's a great guy for a young team like that.
Absolutely. I mean, you need more point guard depth behind Steph Curry, so I think it's a good move. After that, the Miami Heat were a big one. I mean, the Heat, they gave up Roger Mason Jr. for a protected second-round pick to the Kings, and it's not a big name. Roger Mason Jr., a lot of fans probably don't even know who that is. I mean, he played 3 minutes for the Heat here and there, really didn't get that much play time, but it's a good move for Miami because what they're trying to do here is he's taking up a roster spot. By getting rid of him, they can open up a roster spot and hopefully add another player. We saw last season they did the same thing, and they were able to pick up Chris Anderson, Birdman, and we saw how big Birdman has been for them. I mean, he might be one of the most important pieces to that championship last year, because after they picked up him, he really helped out the rebounding troubles they were having. I mean, aside from Chris Bosh, they just have no length at all on that team. Chris Anderson is the second biggest guy they have on that team, and he's been a very big piece of the Heat's success. So I'm a big Birdman fan, and I think the Heat, that this is a good move for them because they get rid of a guy who never plays, and hopefully they can add another player who can help them on their championship run. After that, we were just talking about this one. You had the Denver Nuggets and the Wizards and the 76ers, a 3-way trade. The big name at it, though, is Andre Miller is going to Washington. And, Rob, why don't you give us your take on that one?
This is a terrific pickup, Joe. Andre Miller is pretty decent point guard. He's had a great career. And John Wall, even though he's a great point guard right now, it's great to learn tips from a great veteran like this one. I feel he'll be very important, Andre Miller, for their push for the playoffs this year.
You think it's going to help John Wall, too? I mean, he's a veteran guy, and he really has played the position a long time. You think it's important for his development to get a guy like this in there for him?
Yes, definitely. I feel when you have that kind of presence, like Jason Kidd last year with the Knicks, even though Felton really isn't that great, you need that veteran, that one who's a push, because he'll show you how to be better at the game, show you what he could do.
Absolutely. I mean, he's smart. He knows how to play the game. That's going to be big for them. And I like what Washington, the East is struggles, but Washington has a lot of nice pieces. We talked a lot about Bradley Beal last week. They have nice pieces on that team, so we'll see what's going to happen with them. And just another update on the game. We're going to keep on giving you the update. It's almost over. There's under 2 minutes in the game. USA is still down 1-0. So kind of getting an empty net right now for the U.S. I wish we could be telling you how to do this. Unfortunately, Iona does not get the game on MSNBC Sports Network, so Iona's got to work on that. But it's all empty net for the U.S., and we're going to get right back to that in a minute. But moving on with the NBA, another one of the big moves, probably the last big name one, was the one where the Indiana Pacers acquired. They gave up Danny Granger for Evan Turner and LaVoy Allen, and some people were kind of critical of this one. Rob, what was your takeaway of this one?
I really don't like this trade, Joe. I mean, regarding Evan Turner, I don't think he's that great of a pickup. If you look at the 76ers team he's on, he's their best player there. Nobody's really playing there. So you could expect high stats out of a player like him. So I really don't like this trade. You know what? You did get Danny Granger off your payroll, but I think Danny Granger was a good guy coming off the bench and all that. But Evan Turner, I really don't like this pickup.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of confused why they would make this move now, because it seems like if you're a team like Indiana, I mean, I think we all agree that Miami or Indiana are going to come out of the East, guaranteed, basically. And I don't know why you would want to mess up with what's going so well. I mean, Indiana's been unbelievable this year, and I don't know if there was a need to make the trade. Evan Turner is a good player, but you don't know how he's going to fit into that system, so I'm not too sure on that one either, but we'll see what's going to happen there. Moving along, though, for the one more big basketball move last night, you had the Duke and UNC game, and UNC was really struggling. I mean, they've been playing a lot better, and they got a big win last night. They won 74-66, and I turned this game on towards the end after the Heat game was over, and I thought that they had a chance. I mean, it was pretty close with about 3 minutes left, but Carolina kind of pulled away from it. The big thing I took away from it, though, was the Tar Heels. They out-rebounded Duke 43-30, and I thought that was big at the end of the game. That really was big. I mean, Carolina was able to pull down the rebounds. That was very important for them. Unfortunately, bad news. I was really hoping, Rob, I didn't have to say this on the air. Unfortunately, though, Canada advances to the gold medal game to take on Sweden after defeating the USA 1-0. It's upsetting. It really is. I mean, I thought Team USA, look, there's no... There's honor in losing to Canada. I'm a big Canada fan. I love their hockey tradition, and there's no problem with losing to them. But it's tough because the USA played so well throughout this Olympics. I mean, I really thought if they had a chance, I really liked what was going. It was 1-0. I mean, Carey Price, you got to give him credit for Canada. He played a great game, but overall, my takeaways is just I just saw too much intensity from Canada. I didn't see the intensity from the U.S. on the power plays. They were dull. Everybody was passing the puck, not being aggressive enough offensively. So I just wasn't seeing enough from the U.S. to win this game. But we're gonna come back in 1 minute. That was just first reaction, but we're gonna talk more about it. So stay with us, and we will be right back.
In the end zone and throwing it, it's complete. Winder dives out to the 7-yard line. And Johnson's in motion, reverses the motion, and the pitch is to Winder. Winder coming to the right, cuts to the 10-yard line. And the Broncos will move ahead to score 20 just to get a tie.